Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko mopanui te moanga I runei taku nākau. Ko waiputai te moana ma e mahi nei aku mā harahara, no waitati ahau. E mihi ana ki ngā tohi o nohi o toranga moana e noho nei au. Ko Lynda Johnston tōku ingoa, e tangata mātai mata whenua ahau. I currently live in Tauranga Moana, but I grew up in a small rural village called Waitete, just north of Ōtepoti, Dunedin. This is an image of me standing by the house we used to live in. In this out-of-the-way place, we had few resources, and it was a place where people tended to embrace different ways to live sustainable lives with low or no income, different ways to do relationships, and different ways to do gender and sexuality. This had a profound impact on me and my sense of social justice and my value of difference and inclusive communities. I quickly identified as a feminist as soon as I knew what the word meant, and in retrospect, this was probably my first attempt to challenge gender binaries. Now into my sixth decade, I continue to take and create opportunities to queer gender, sex and place. And a recent news story in the media has been about the painting over of a rainbow crossing in Turanga Akiwi, Gisborne, and in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland. In an act of hate and vandalism, the action is an attempt to erase queer bodies that don't fit a heteronormative binary of male and female, and erase these bodies from cities. Cities have long been spaces built and maintained for straight, ableist, white and cisgender bodies. Yet cities, regions, nations, all spaces can be queered and made inclusive, as much of my research shows. So let me take you to Kirikiriroa, Hamilton. And two monuments stand out as highly significant in Hamilton's identity. At the north end of Victoria Street, we have the farming family, donated by Sir Bob Jones in 1990. Now, the intention of this statue is to celebrate the region's ordinary farming family in history. And ordinary here means a celebration of Pākehā family farming rather than recognising Māori farming history. Ordinary here also means a celebration of a heterosexual cisgender family with a mum, dad, two kids, a cow, a sheep and a dog. There is no parody with this statue, but I do love the way it exaggerates heteronormativity. At the south end of Victoria Street, we have the statue of Riff Raff, a cross-dressing butler from the cult film and musical The Rocky Horror Picture Show. The original play then film was written by Richard O'Brien, who grew up in Hamilton and plays Riff Raff the butler. My colleague Robin Longhurst and I like the statue so much we have it as an image on one of our books. Space, Place and Sex, Geographies of Sexualities. This was published in 2010, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show is about Frankenfurter, a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. It illustrates the way in which bodies become sexualized, included and excluded, depending on place and time. Now, the decision for Kirikiriroa Hamilton to support a statue of Riff Raff was bold and contested, yet support prevailed and the statue was erected in 2004. The Riff Raff statue is provocative and unusual in that not only does it queer the streets of Hamilton, but it also upsets the idea that city statues have to be heteronormative, commemorative, often military, and celebrate conservative family values. The significance of Riff Raff statue goes beyond the city of Hamilton. It has become a site of pilgrimage for tourists and also our rainbow communities who live in and around Kirikiriroa. A part of my community work and activism and research with the group Hamilton Pride has involved gathering at Riff Raff on November 20th, the International Transgender Day of Remembrance. Flowers are laid, candles are lit, and we remember and honour transgender people who are subject to gender bashing, have been killed, or have taken their own lives because of abuse and discrimination. Now, I talk about these examples, the farming family statue and the riffraff statue, as Hamilton's monuments, because they enable me to illustrate some local and urban spatial politics of gender and sexuality. City monuments communicate what and who are considered important to particular places. Across the globe, in Greenwich Village, New York City, is a gay and lesbian monument created by George Segal. 4 figures, 2 men and 2 women, stand in Christopher Park. This gay liberation monument is a positive symbol of queer lives, yet it also marks a site where violence against homosexuality, where during the night of June 27th in 1969, police once again raided a gay bar called the Stonewall Inn. Oh, pause there, go back. Now, word of the raid and resistance to it soon spread, and the next day hundreds gathered to protest and advocate for gay rights. 3 days and 2 nights of rioting became emblematic of defiance of compulsory heterosexuality. At this time, a group of activists organised the first gay and lesbian march in New York City, from Washington Square to the Stonewall Inn. The anniversary is marked in most Western cities around the world by gay pride festivals and parades. The assertion and creation of a new sense of identity was produced, one based on being proud of being gay rather than feeling shame for one's identity. Gay pride then has not always been about rainbows and celebration, and while today Christopher Street in New York City may be lined with many rainbow flags indicating a queer space, yet we in rainbow communities cannot be complacent as misogynist attacks on who we are and where we are included and excluded continue. But to return to monuments, the farming family, riffraff, and the New York Gay and Lesbian Monument, they show that gender and sexuality, who we are, what we do, and what we can talk about, is always filtered through various cultural and social landscapes. Bodies and places are mutually constitutive. It matters whether we are trans, genderqueer, non-binary, and or gay, are in England, New York, Aotearoa, New Zealand, or somewhere else, whether we're on a rugby field or in a gay bar. Gender and sexuality is lived in and through bodies, ranging across various scales, such as homes, workplaces, cities, regions, nations. Now, my research on gay pride has been published in various books and articles in which I consider the way in which gay pride festivals queer places and create safe spaces of belonging. Festivals and parades are about pride, defiance, visibility, remembrance, and celebration. Streets surrounding transport systems, buses, pubs, city parks, shops, etc., fill with lesbians, gays, bisexuals, people who are transgender, intersex, takatapui, etc. And our bodies challenge the complacency of the heterosexual street. Why do we need this? Kate, a research participant, tells us why. Kate says, I live in a straight world. I work in a straight world. I want to be able to socialise in a gay and lesbian community. And this is why Auckland Pride Festival is really important. I can come here and just be me. I'm not going to worry about getting judged because I'm a lesbian and, or being thought that I'm weird or perverted or whatever. And another research project with the group Hamilton Pride that I worked with, Gloria explains the importance of drag. Doing drag is an excuse for me to live out loud and in colour. It's also a platform for me to remain a political human being. I spent probably 20 to 30 years of my life being a gay person who fitted in. Well, in actual fact, it's all very nice fitting in, but nobody gives a damn. So Hamilton Pride as a community group and the festivals transform the city and the University of Waikato campus. So returning to Rainbow Street crossings, These permanently painted symbols of pride create geographies of belonging for all of us. The research and activism I have presented today shows that pride politics are an example of the shifting and complex spatial dynamics and lived realities. Ngā mihi.